What's going on, boys and girls? It's me, Ben DPB. Here we have another Ben Meets episode. This one, it's a good one. I'm looking forward to this one, especially for a guy of my age, shall we say. We've got Robbie Knox on now. For those who don't know Robbie Knox used to be on a show called Soccer AM back when the show was actually good. He's now an FM streamer. And say hello, Robbie. How are you, buddy?
I'm very well, thank you. Very confident of you saying it's going to be good when we've not done it yet. I mean, it's a lot of pressure. Can't handle that.
Yeah, I should have said that, shouldn't I? We'll edit that bit out. Don't worry, we'll edit that bit out. So how are you, my friend? How are you getting on?
Very well, thank you. Very excited to be able to talk Football Manager. That's brilliant. Rare opportunity in my house.
I love doing it. I mean, my wife is sick of me playing the game. I'm somewhat for purist, shall we say. I do prefer the older versions, but that's just me showing my age.
Do you still play with the 2D thing, or are you going through? Oh, no.
I do.
Come on.
I do still play it. I play the game in 2D, the highlights in 3D.
Right, okay.
I like the 2D just because you get overhead view. I tried that data analyst camera and I was not a fan of it at all.
I don't even know what that is. So you found my level. Yeah.
It's one for binoculars, shall we say. Okay. It's quite zoomed out and it's not very good. But anyway, I digress. As I mentioned, you were in Soccer AM during the heyday. Mm-hmm. On the show, you were lovingly called Tramp. But of course, you go by the name Robbie Knox. And obviously, you joined the show as a production junior. And at any point when you first joined the show, did you in a million years think you end up not only being on TV, interviewing people in the streets, going out to piss with famous footballers and celebrities, but also, of course, my favourite part of Soccer AM, the Christmas special, the dance-off.
Boo, the dance-off. Boo, the dance-off. I imagine you would have if you weren't doing it. It was great. Well, it was only from when I first joined. It was only like 2 weeks before I first did something on screen.
Wow. And
that was sort of what it was, because people would say to you, oh, you like, I mean, this sounds ridiculous, but they say like, oh, you guys like all comedians, No, just had to dress up for something. And you sort of I can't remember, I think that I was an old lady in like the second week or something. And then if you don't mess that up, you do something else and then you might get some words to say or something like that.
I mean, you did pretty well at the show. Like I said, some of the guys you went out for drinks for the Gallagher brothers, I believe. I heard your podcast a few weeks ago, an old one with JaackMaate, where you allegedly stole a snooker ball from Vernon Kay's house.
Wasn't me. It was a pool ball.
Pool ball. I did say allegedly, just for the solicitors out there. Yep. If you're listening, Vernon, I did say allegedly, just so you know. And as we know, if you say allegedly, you can say anything you like.
Say whatever. So yeah.
that's a law. That's the fact.
Yeah. So, they can't do anything. It's a loophole.
So, I mean, it must have been amazing back then, because the show back then was like the show. Everybody watched Soccer AM back in the day. It was the go-to place.
Yeah, it did feel... I was sort of aware of that, as in you just sort of know that it was this special sort of thing and this special time for it. I think I was quite sort of aware of what was going on. Not just because people would tell you, but you sort of got... you can see the sort of impact you have. Like, I'm a Liverpool fan. I remember when we had this Save Chip campaign about basically one of Tim's friends, a guy called Chip, his girlfriend or his wife went there and watched the football or something, and the idea was like it was just a campaign to get to let him watch the football, and people would just put these banners up around the place. When Liverpool won the UEFA Cup in 2001, I'm going to say, around then, they at the front of their bus had like a Save Chip banner on it and stuff like that. And that was an idea that I sort of come up with on the show, sort of thing. So you're having that sort of impact, and you see these things everywhere. So yeah, it was a brilliant job to have in your 20s.
I mean, I mentioned the dance off, rather something I enjoyed doing. I mean, just how drunk did you boys have to get?
No, it's like 9 a.m. Not at all, sadly. But it was horrible. It was really horrible. I remember the first one when it first happened. We were like, we're going to do what? But then you're at the back and you've got like 15 seconds. It goes fairly quickly, but once it starts, and you're sort of dreading it because it's horrible. And certainly the first few, once you get used to it after a while, but the first one's just like, I've got to dance. And you weren't allowed to do novelty dancing. So you couldn't do like sort of David Brent sort of like dance moves or Carlton from Fresh Prince, anything like that. It had to be like you trying to properly like be a dancer, which made it so much better and worse. But then as you were lining up, you were just sort of line up in order at the back, so set order you're going to come out in, and then you're just sort of shuffling forward like you're about to go over the trenches in the war or something. It's horrible.
Now, as I mentioned, you've got a YouTube channel. Your YouTube channel is a little bit different to a conventional vlog, shall we say. It's not you walking around talking about all these amazing things you've done for the day. It's talking about things like when you've been to Sainsbury's and your love of beer and whatnot. Now, in your video, you've done a lot of things ranging from throwing wellies. You've also some of my favourite YouTubes on there. I believe it's called Walking with Robbie, where you go for lovely little walks to enjoy the scenery. Going
for a walk with, I think it might be called. I call it a different thing each time, so it's every possibility I've called it that. But I think technically, the graphic says going for a walk with, and then the YouTuber's name.
You've had Max Fosh, JaackMaate, my favourite YouTuber, the boy John on there. For those who haven't seen your YouTube channel, why the hell not? If you haven't seen it, tell us a little bit about your content. Probably better than I did.
Well, when people ask what it is, I just say I'm just sort of filling time till I die, which is sort of the vibe for the channel, really. There's not, if anyone's not seen it, I'd give it a miss. I'd give it a wide berth. I don't think you're missing out on much. It's just sort of any things that I enjoy doing and all that. I think in a more serious sort of note, I think there's a lot of pressure on younger people that I didn't really have to try and make your life look good on Instagram or whatever social sort of channels and all this. And I remember talking to, this sounds name dropping, but at Soccer Aim in the Green, I remember talking to Noel Gallagher, and he was saying that he quite often would get TV companies wanting to do filming him at home. And he said he always says no. And he says the reason being, he says the reality of him sat at home is him just watching TV and maybe cooking some dinner. It's just the same as everyone else. And the idea of a rock star at home is much more exciting than the reality of a rock star, which is just the same as everyone. So I think I'm aware that everyone, unless you've got a butler and stuff, everyone has to take the bins out and everyone has to go to the supermarket and do things. So I try to include that sort of stuff on to sort of say, it's all right, everyone's doing this, don't worry. You don't have to pretend you've got a plane when you haven't and stuff.
I love it because for me it's escapism, because as you said, a lot of the stuff you do is stuff that I do every day. Unfortunately, like taking the bins out, as you mentioned. But do you enjoy taking the bins out? Because I genuinely do. I don't. I live in South Wales and we don't have bins here anymore. Our stuff is all recycling bags. Right. So, whereas, back in England, I used to live in Luton. I was from Luton. So, back in Luton, you had the bins. I didn't mind taking the bins out. But in South Wales, you have these recycling bags. You have to put your cardboard in one bag, plastics in another bag, paper in another bag. You've got to put your food in another bag. And it traipses this crap through your house to get to the front of your house. And it's just I then have a faint whiff of mouldy food going through my house then. Do you know what I mean? But what's your tactics? Sorry to get straight into this, but how often have you been collecting? Once a week? Once a week. And so what do you do? Where do the bins live between when you fill them and in the shed? In the shed, right? In the shed, yeah. So the shed's out the back, and then you've got to take them to the front of the house on bin day. I've got to traipse it because we haven't got I haven't got any alleys. I have to walk through my house with the rubbish to get outside. So I've got to traipse it actually through my house. And have you got a front garden or anything like that? Or is it just straight onto the street? Oh, right. Yeah, that does sound a nightmare. Yeah, that sounds like some kind of Dickensian bin day. I live in South Wales, like the 1930s over, unfortunately. Oh, God, yeah, that sounds awful. Yeah, fair enough. Living in Luton, it wasn't quite so bad. I did the classic, taking the bins out in, my shorts, no top on, thinking I was hard, with my beer gut hanging out. I did all that, back in the day, but unfortunately, I don't quite get to do that anymore. No, yeah, I quite like it because we've our bin bags, our bin days like something from the 80s. I just take out black bin bags. There's no wheelie bins. There's nothing like that. And I have to take bottles to a bottle bank. Physically have to drive them somewhere. Like it's 1985. But I quite like it. People go, oh, that's terrible. We haven't got a wheelie bin. I go, no, it's not terrible because you can put out unlimited rubbish. Unlimited. Do you claim back petrol money from the council having to drive to the bottle bank? I would. No, I will now. Yeah. Although it sounds like paperwork. You'll be amazed by how much money I'd ignore if I have to do something for it. I've got to go all the way to the post office to get my £1 million lottery win. No, thank you. I'll forget that. Yeah. No, right, thanks. No way. Now, much like me, you're a bit of an old git. When it comes to playing FM. Thank you very much. How kind of you to say. I say that with loving care. When it comes to playing Foot Manager, or rather as we might call it, Championship Manager. Originally, now, of course, you played it back in the day. When did you start playing Foot Manager, Championship Manager, whatever you would call it? I got the first ever Championship Manager
at a computer game fair in the Novotel Hotel in Hammersmith in London before it was actually released. So prior to the official first release, it was like just stores of different games, and I went with my friend Mark, I think I was with. We went around these things, and one of them was this game called Change Manager. We played a lot of games before then that were the early versions of serious football management games. Like there's a game called The Double on the Spectrum. I don't know if you've ever recall or came across that. That was sort of the first, like, where it wasn't just one's rating for player out of 5 or something like that. It was like there were actual stats. And then this game, Football Masters, that you had to buy online. It wasn't available in the shop. No, not even online, sorry. It wouldn't have been online. It was by post. There were like adverts in the back of like magazines. You had to send off £20 or they'd send you some discs or whatever it was. And then you got this game. We played that, or the Football Master we played all the time. And then Championship Manager, we bought this there. So I've been playing Championship Manager since before it was officially released, technically. But you get the thing with Football Manager when you're talking about it, and someone starts to about how much they love it, and they go, that's really cool. And they go, yeah, let me show you. And they get out their phone to get phone Football Manager. I'm like, oh, shut up, mate. I don't want to talk to you.
That's not real.
I've got no respect for you. I've got no respect. I'm not interested in what you've got to show me. It doesn't count. Not interested.
Did you see the tweet Darren Ben put out the other week when he put himself playing Football Manager? It's Football Manager Touch, and I was like, "What are you doing?
Oh, that's disgusting.
Why are you playing FM Touch on a laptop? What's going on?"
I never tried it. It's just pointless. I'm not interested.
It's sort of your kids play. Yeah, my kid's 9 and 5.
If I can't slag off someone's youth scout, youth coach, or something in a press conference, I'm not interested. Yeah.
Do you have a favourite version of the game? FM or Championship Manager?
The game, I like the progress. I think I know people prefer old things and all this. I like every year I go, yeah, no, this is a bit better. I think actually some bits get better, some bits get worse, I think. But overall, I think it's better now than it's ever been. I think last year was the first time I think they really nailed training. I think before then, they had so many different versions of how you did training, ranging from having absolutely no control of what was going on to having to do literally everything. Like you might as well had to put the cones out and going, oh, this isn't fun. Whereas now, it does feel like I have some understanding of how what I do in training affects my team, which I've never said before last year. So I think it's as good as it's ever been, yeah.
Do you take over training or do you need to ask man?
I will keep an eye on it, and I will. It depends how. Like on this Football Manager stream I'm doing at the minute on Twitch, I've not really touched training just because it's more sort of the social side of it. But if I'm doing it on my own, I'd be. You see, because I play Football Manager in a very specific way. As of from the last 10 years, I'd say I've played Football Manager every year in the same way, in which I start off unemployed, with no coaching qualifications, and my actual age, my height, weight, everything, just as me, basically, no experience, unemployed, to get a realistic career. I mean, as realistic as you can get when you're getting a job with no experience. But do you know what I mean? So I'll do that and then try and work my way, because I don't want to just take over Liverpool. I want to earn the job. Never done it, but I want that's the long term aim. So yeah, what I will do, and what I tend to do if you're playing, because you tend to start in like Conference South or something like that, and it's a lot of long ball. It's a lot of launching it. It's 4-4-2, and at the back, 2 big centre backs. Don't really care about anything else. Full backs, not that fussed about. Midfielders couldn't care less. Anyone who's around the training ground on the Friday before the game can get in the team. And then up front, a big lad and a fast lad. And I will launch the ball to the big lad and he will flick it onto the fast lad. He'll kick it into the goal. And that has got me out of many a conference over the years.
You just described every Sunday League team ever.
Yeah, but because it works. My friend Martin Gritton, used to play for a lot of like League 2 teams and that when he was playing. Yeah. He's retired now. And he played under Keith Alexander once. He said at training, because they're so into the long ball, he said if you got the ball and you didn't kick the ball forward, you had to do a lap of the pitch. If you pass it sideways or backwards, you had to do a lap of the pitch. And every ball had to be launched up the pitch. And that's exactly what I'm trying to set up my training with. So I tend to tailor it to what I'm doing. So I will go, yeah, I think maybe we're going to practice direct attacking play now, or set pieces.
Now, since making the move to Twitch, you're doing pretty well. Not to big you up too much.
Right, it's only been 2 weeks. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, it's great. I love it.
That's what I was going to say. It's amazing that it's such a short distance. You've already FM, we tend to call it a community, but you've already really grown yourself a little community. You know, you see the same guys in your stream pretty much every day. Now, what made you decide to make the move to Twitch, and do you plan on being there for the foreseeable future?
I like playing Football Manager, and it's a good excuse to do it. And it's something I can do from home fairly easily. I mean, I've sort of got stuff set up now in my office where it only takes me 5 minutes to set up beforehand if I've not been using my camera for other things, and it's all quite easy. So yeah, I do intend to keep doing it for
That's good.
For eternity now. But yeah, I really enjoy it, and it is a lovely group of people, and it's in this sort of chat, and I'm amazed. I don't know if all of Twitch is like that or not, but it does feel really good chat. And there's such a variety of chat in it because we've ended up for as managing Brecon because they're the only team that would have us really at the beginning, because I've sort of been tweeting about it and doing things like that. Even the club have been tweeting and stuff like that. And even the club sponsor, this whiskey company, have been sending me some. They've said we've promised if you win the league, as in League Two, if you win the league, we're going to send you a bottle of whiskey and stuff like that. So
nice.
So everyone's getting involved. And my greatest code of fame that I found out today is that Football Manager, the game itself, has started following me on Twitter, which is an absolute life goal for me.
I'm not going to lie, when they followed me, I did get a bit excited.
That's great, isn't it?
Lots of guys put tweets out. I didn't, because I didn't want to be that guy, but I was a little bit excited when FM followed me. I was like, oh my God, Football Manager followed me.
600 people, you should be honoured.
I know, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's mad. But, you know, they know quality when they see it. So that's why they follow me.
And
of course me.
Definitely. So I thoroughly enjoy it. But it's a really nice chat because Brecon have got a hedge around the one side of the ground. We're sort of calling them the hedgemen in the game because everyone knows the city, which is rubbish, partly because Brecon's not actually a city. They just call themselves Brecon City because they used to be a city in the olden days, but they're not anymore. So because of that, but the chat, I mean, just earlier today, we started chatting about different versions of names in the chat. So it was like, we'll go right, what's the correct spelling of Stephen? Is it PH or V? And everyone just writing Stephen in different versions of it. And go, okay, the official spelling is this. And then we're just going through like Connor with 2 N's or Connor with 1 N. And just all these endless different versions of things. Lewis, Louis or Lewis, all that sort of stuff. And just endless things. So it's the variety of the chat in there that I like. And also everyone's giving themselves their own jobs at the club. This guy Badgerman Badgers says he's going to run the pie shop, and he'll just halfway through a game he'll just shout out, it'll just be 10 minutes lads, I've just put them in the oven. Stuff like that and things. So it's a really nice little group of people that are back most days sort of thing. So thoroughly enjoying it. Yeah.
Do you plan on bringing your FM content to YouTube, or do you just want to focus solely on Twitch for your FM and your general vlogging comedy for YouTube?
I might do a video at some point on Brecon sort of thing. It's good. What I'm really into in everything I do is stories. Like, I'm not the greatest cameraman in the world, not the greatest editor in the world sort of thing, but I think I'm really good at telling a story. And I think Football Manager is the perfect thing. It's got like more strands than The Wire or The Sopranos in the same of Football Manager, because you've got the overarching, you've got the sort of big thing of how the team are doing and all that sort of stuff, but then you have this like kid that you bought 2 years ago and at 15 and he's in the reserves and you're building him up for his first game and all this sort of stuff, and you get all these little narratives and all this. And like on our Brecon stream, there's this guy called Declan Tremble, and he's a good finisher. He's got like for League Two, he's like got 12 finishing or something like that, and he's pretty pacey, but he's rubbish at everything else. Like if he gets the ball and tries to pass it 6 yards, he'll put it in the stands or something like that. He's dreadful. A lot of people sort of seem to love him in the group, and I was going, and I was sort of saying, he's one for the future maybe, but he's not there yet. And everything, come on, it's Tremble time. I think the fact his name's Tremble helps. I was going, it's Tremble time. So eventually, so I paid him, and he messed up a couple of things. I'm just slagging him off, and then he gets the winner against like a third team in like the last minute with a really greatly finished goal. So I'm just sort of just sat there in silence for a few minutes, just like that. And you get that sort of narrative where everyone in the chat's going, yeah, and getting into it, and you sort of have that sort of almost arguments with people. And the other thing we've had that you wouldn't get, this is the good thing about taking on a not top flight team, is we've had 2 of the players in the 2 weeks since we go, we've had 2 of the players who we've signed join in the chat, because one of them, this guy Max Barry, was someone's mate or something like that who was in the chat. We just scouted him, so they said, oh, he's my mate, so we signed him, and then he turned up to join in the chat. This other guy, Ahmed Alulu, who's our captain, is a great striker. someone just went onto Instagram and went, we're on this Twitch stream and everyone loves you. Do you want to pop in? He just turned up, and then his brother Youssef turned up as well. And all this stuff. Absolute scenes. Really, really good. So, yes, it's and you wouldn't get that if you were a Premier League team. You're not going to get Harry Kane just pop into your Twitch stream.
I mean, do you have any habits when it comes to FM? By habits, I mean, for example, I'm a Luton Town fan, unfortunately. And when I play the game, no matter who I'm managing, I refuse to sell or buy any Watford players. If Watford come to me with a £400 million offer, I'd rather sell him for £1 to someone else. I just won't sell or buy from Watford.
I admire that. I'm not Watford in particular. I admire that sort of dedication or something.
But I just can't. I mean, but do you have any habits yourself, whether it be transfer things that you do or star things or what? Do you have any habits that you go to?
Well, because of the way I play it, starting off unemployed, I've realised I've basically, when I get up the leagues, because eventually if you play it for a while, within like 5 or 6 seasons, you'll hopefully be in the Premier League or thereabouts, something like that. But I find that because I play it, I'm basically like Dave Bassett. I can't handle a big club, and I can buy players. I'm just going to wait till they turn up and ask for a trial. I was hoping Lionel Messi would just stroll and say, "Can I play for you, mate? I'm out of contract." So I think that's my real weakness in the game, because I've not played that much of it where I've actually bought players. So, I mean, normally I tend to try and start in the bottom leagues of England, because it can be a grind. What I'll do is I'll then try and, when people get released, I try and get these people who have been released from the clubs and all that. And then you can get some really high potential players. And if you just stick with the team for 2 or 3 years and just don't get sacked, then these players all become amazing. And then you can sort of start working your way up the league. I'm very much the policy of like kissing the badge on the Saturday, getting a job off on the Sunday and leaving on the Monday. It's very much about me, not building it with one club. So I'm not like, I'm going to take Brecon all the way. I'm taking Brecon all the way until I get offered at least a championship club. I'm probably not going to leave for a League One team.
Or your coaching badge, as you mentioned before. You get your coaching badge sorted first.
Well, you've got it. That's the big thing. So if you join a club and they go, I want to do my coaching badge, and they go, no, you go, well, I'm just going to leave then, because there's no point in me playing the game, because the players don't have any respect for you. They're just like, yeah, you don't really know what you're doing, mate, so I'll just do what I like, yeah. But like I was amazed, because I've just got my A license today on at Brecon. I was thinking, there's no way.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a lot of hard work, and I was thinking, there's no way the board are going to let me do my UEFA things, because they know what the plan is. They know what I'm doing. They know I'm not becoming the greatest trained coach in the world to manage the league. They know what's going on. Ken, our chairman, knows exactly the plan. So Kenjamin, as he's known in the chat. So Kenjamin. So I said to Kenjamin, I said, like, can I do my UEFA badges? He went, yeah, no problem. I was like, oh, you mug. You have no idea what's going on, do you? Yeah. I like it when you leave a club and their reactions outweighs. My friend Al is a Leeds United fan, and this is going a couple of years when they weren't a Premier League team. I remember he took them up to the Premier League, and he won, over a 25-year career, he won something like 6, 7, 8 Champions Leagues over 25 years. It's an incredible thing. After 25 years, he thought, I might have a new chance or something. So he resigned, and the chairman called him a bandit. after 25 years and like 7 European Cups. They're like, you bastard. What have you get out of this club? You're not welcome here. I love that.
Now, there's a thing on Twitch, as you've only been on a couple of weeks doing Twitch, but there's a thing called the Streamer Showdown. For those who don't know what it is, the Streamer Showdown happens about once a month or so, where a lot of the best FM streamers come together and they do essentially a little mini league, and then evolves into a knockout stage. And it's quite an exciting thing to watch. And they've got a little program called The Lowdown, where they have it's like Soccer Saturday, where you have a group of other content creators sitting there talking about the games like it's a real thing, and it's quite exciting to watch.
Wow.
Have you heard of the Streamer Showdown?
I've heard of it. People keep saying you should do the Streamer Showdown, and I go, I don't know what that is. Someone explain it, and no one's explained it. So you've explained it now for me. Yeah, that sounds excellent.
What I'll do is we'll all harass Benji, who helps organise it.
Does he organise? Right, that makes sense, because someone said to him, we should get Robbie in, and he said, Robbie's very welcome, or something like that, I think. So I think hopefully it will happen at some point. Yeah, marvellous.
It's a lot of fun to watch. Some people take it very, very seriously. Everyone's got their favourites on there. I like Zealand. Zealand tends to annoy a lot of people, which is quite funny. But it's really good to watch. And like I said, the lowdown where the guys talk about it, Soccer Saturday style is arguably my favourite part. Just sitting there.
And how long is it going? Is it like a one day thing? Is it going for longer?
It normally happens over 2 days. I want to say they have like the draft, because it's a draft mode as well. See, so they have the draft on the Friday, and I believe that it's Saturday and Sunday. Actually, they do the group stage on the Saturday, and then the knockouts on the Sunday.
Oh God, I'm going to be dreadful at this, aren't I? I'm going to be dreadful.
But what they do normally is when they do the draft, there's like a rule where you've got to have like a minimum, for example, of 10 players from the Liga, or you've got to have a minimum of 10 players from the Bundesliga. Do you know what I mean? And there's like 8 people there trying to pick the biggest and best players, and obviously in order. And my favourite part of the whole stream is the draft, because it's quite funny and quite weird seeing some of the players people pick. Do you watch much FM content, whether it be YouTube or Twitch? Because surprisingly or unsurprisingly, a lot of YouTubers and Twitch streamers don't always watch a lot of other content because they're so busy making it, or by the time they get around to their downtime, they're like, I'm done with FM, I need to chill out.
I certainly wouldn't say I watch a lot of it. I watch a decent amount of James Alcott. I watch bits of Dr. Benji, I watch bits of Lurjo. And Will Brazier is a friend of mine. He does some Twitch streams. I watch a bit of him playing Football Manager as well, but not a great deal, to be honest, because it's already. I mean, I'm trying to stream every weekday at the minute when I'm not doing anything, sort of thing. So it's quite hard to do that, do YouTube stuff, do my job, and have a family sort of thing with, and also adding in watching hours of Twitch streaming. So no, I do little bits, but I try and watch more because I really like raids. So I like discovering new people to do raids with on sort of thing. Because that's my favourite thing on Twitch, raids. They're great, aren't they?
So you like raiding people then?
Yeah. It's really nice. Like,
so some guys only raid smaller streamers. Is that what you do, or do you tend to go for...
I think it's more enjoyable than raiding someone who's got 10,000 viewers. It doesn't matter if I bring along 100 people. But there's a guy called, I think, DRG Games, who's in our... He watches a lot of the Breaking stuff. He's in the chat a lot, and he does his own little streaming as well, sort of thing like that. And he went, I think he had like 9 viewers or something, and then we turned up with like about 130 people or something like that. And it's nice when someone goes mental, gets really excited about what's going on. That's really sweet. I really enjoy that. And then also if it's people that I want to know or I want to like me, I'll rate them as well. Hello.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Hiya. It's me.
I remember a while back, Loki Doki, who's one of the biggest YouTubers, Twitch streamers, he had 1,000 viewers yesterday. He raided someone. And I remember about a year or two ago, he raided a guy called Marvel, who's an American lad. He's a lovely bloke. And the guy just started crying on stream.
Aww.
And he became a bit of a meme, shall we say, in the FM community. But it was quite nice to see that it meant that much, and that someone of Loki Doki's size raided him.
Yeah.
And you're right. When someone like you or Loki raids us, it means so much to people. And it's sort of, you see them perk up, right? They push their chest out. They're like, right, I've got to perform now. And you see the quality pretty much increase straight away.
Yeah, but it's just it's nice to be able to just do something nice, isn't it? Sort of things. I'm very aware that the reason I've got a lot of people watching on Twitch is because of my YouTube channel, sort of thing. I mean, it's and the stuff I've built up on there. So it's nice to be able to just come and sort of help do nice things for people. I like that. Nice things are nice.
It is nice. Now we're going to get to arguably my favourite part of the show. No offence. The Spitfire questions that aren't really Spitfire questions. It's a couple of questions I like to ask you. We all say it should be one word, but it turns into much, much more than one word. Normally a good debate or two as well.
Okay.
But a nice easy one. Coke or Pepsi?
Neither really, but Pepsi maybe. Diet Pepsi ideally. I can't drink the full fat ones. It's just too sugary.
Who do you support and why?
I support Liverpool because I grew up in Kent in the 1980s.
Makes sense. So club or country? I'm assuming you're an England fan.
I'm not.
So England, you're not? Wow.
Scotland fan.
Is it Scotland?
Yep,
Scotland. Do you remember we said you're a stream back? Let's say Scotland win the Euros because the World Cup is unrealistic, let's be honest.
I think the Euros is quite unrealistic.
I'm a Wales fan, so I can't say
I don't know how good you think Scotland are, but if you think it's realistic we're going to win the Euros, that's sensational.
So Scotland win the World Cup or Liverpool win the treble?
Scotland win the World Cup, easily.
Good shout. I'm the same. I'm a Wales fan, and I'd rather Wales win the World Cup than Luton win the treble any day.
I've learned over the years that international football is my level. Like, I started supporting Liverpool, then I found out where Liverpool was, and I was like, oh, that's inconvenient. That's not going to be good. But even if I lived down the road from the ground, I'm not going to go to a football match every week. I've just got too much stuff to do. I'm just not going to do it. Whereas for international football, I tend to go to most Scotland home qualifiers.
Oh wow!
Because it's my level. I can do until the Nations League came along. It was 2 or 3 competitive games at home a year. I can handle that. That's fine.
Why did you support Scotland then?
My family are all from there. Both parents and all my relatives are Scottish.
Right,
I was born in England, but it got sort of drummed into an early age.
I was born in England. I was born in Germany, actually.
Were you?
My dad was in the army, but I was born in Germany. But I was raised by my parents to be a Wales fan. When my kids were both born in England, and they've both been raised to be Wales fans. Did you get much grief at school? I suppose during your day, we had Dalglish, Brian McClare a little bit later on as well.
Yeah,
it wasn't quite so bad, but. Did you get much grief when you were younger being a Scotland fan?
By the time I sort of properly got into football, I guess we're talking... I mean, I was into about 86. I guess from 1990 onwards, maybe there. And then it wasn't a dreadful time to be a Scotland fan. It was qualifying things up until...
players back then.
Yeah, and then up to 1998.
Hendry, Strachan, McClare... Some good plays back then.
Yeah. And so it was not a lot of grief sort of thing. And I've never been, because I've lived in England, and it's nice when England are doing well in a tournament. I've never been one of those, we support Scotland, whoever's playing England sort of people. I wouldn't want England to win the World Cup. I mean, my idea would be to England to go to really well, get to maybe the semi-finals and lose on pens to Germany. That'd be my dream. Or maybe the final, I don't know, but definitely lose on penalties to Germany. That's the key bit of it. But I like them to do quite well, because it's just nice to be in a country, isn't it, where everyone's getting a bit excited and all that sort of thing. I can't remember what we were talking about, but I just got giddy about England losing on penalties to Germany. Sorry.
We all do, but it happens often enough that we all do. Don't worry about it. So in terms of in your FM Championship Manager experience over the years, do you have a favourite ever FM or Championship Manager player? Like your Taribo West or your Cherno Sambos or whatever. Do you have a favourite player?
I'm just trying to think. There was a guy, I can't remember his name, that I had for Blackpool years ago. We used to play this thing before, like, internet gaming was really a thing.
Yeah.
A couple of friends and I used to play a bit where every Monday, Tuesday night, we first moved to London, so it would have been around 1999, 2000. We used to play where we would go around someone's house on Tuesday. Just we'd play, the three of them would play every Tuesday night. So take turns to cook dinner and all this sort of stuff like that. I remember, like, one day, before they got there, you'd play through the days leading up to the first round of games if someone was late.
Yeah.
I remember our friend Jim got sacked before he got there. So we had like a bottle of champagne ready. And he just had to sit there. He didn't get a job for like 2 or 3 months. So it's like 3 or 4 weeks in our game time, because it took us quite a while to get through them all, because you're not playing simultaneously, you're playing one game then the other. So each week's like 3 matches. And so it would go on like that. And it was this just miserable experience for him, when he had to come in and cook us dinner while we played Football Manager. But there was a guy I had for Blackpool then who I bought as a youngster. It was a proper one of those where you nurture them through the team, and you think, are they ready to play? Because like at Breaker, I don't care, anyone can play, it doesn't matter. When you've got a good team, you sort of have to build a player up, and then when he came over his debut and scored, and it was just a glorious moment. So that's good. There's a guy called Callum Smith I had when I took Hartlepool from League 2 to the Premier League a few years back. And he was like a really good youngster. He stayed with me all the way up to the Prem. So him I really loved. And then about two months in the Premier League season, I got offered the Genoa job and left. So see you, Callum.
See you later.
So yeah, that I think maybe Callum Smith. Then let's go with him. I don't know if he's a real person or a regen guy. He's probably not.
So you just mentioned regen. Now, it's a hot topic for me. Do you call them regens or new gens? Now, we all know what the difference are before you start getting bad. They're not called regens anymore. But what do you call them, regen or new gen?
I don't really refer to them. I'd probably say regens rather than new gens. I get that they're not the same. But I quite like it when you get someone. We used to get I don't know what happens now, but we used to get there was someone with a really distinctive name or something like that, like Steve Maradona or something. Pop up and you go, who's that? Where'd you come from?
David Batstuta, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, all that sort of stuff.
From Burnley.
But I remember I don't know, you might not be old enough. There was a thing before like good Championship Manager on that. There was this thing called Play by Mail, and it was genuinely better than computer games, and I'm so gutted it's gone. I get why it's gone. What would happen was you manage a team, so there'd be 64 teams in your league, 4 divisions, and you had your team, and you pick the name, and you'd pick a few players and all this, and you joined this league, and there were 64 different people around the country, and you got a game would happen every weekend, and you got posted. It would arrive on like the Monday or the Tuesday. Normally on the Tuesday, you'd get through your result for the weekend through the mail, and like 10 pages, obviously done on a computer somewhere, printed out of what had happened, the big instance, any news that had happened, any injuries, stuff like that. And then by the next Saturday, you had to fill in your forms and post it back to them. It was like a really slow computer game.
When you say it, it sounds like... That sounds absolutely awful.
It was incredible. It was so brilliant because when you're a kid and you don't really get post, and you sit there and then it arrives, you've been waiting for the postman and you're phoning up your mates because all our mates have been in the same league. It was just brilliant. I've just googled it now to see that. I've just googled what we're talking there. Soccer Supremos there, and there is a team that you can have for you can still do play by mail now if you wanted to.
No way.
Yeah, Summit PBM. So there we go. Yeah, we've got. I'm very, very interested in this. I'm going to research as soon as I get off the phone. I'm going to research Soccer Supremos to find anything about it. But it was really exciting stuff. But also, my friend Gavin learned that you had to send off a certain amount of money, like each week, might be like £1 or something like that to play, or 50p to play or something. And so you'd send off money every now and then. You have to like make sure your account was in credit. So you send off like a check or some cash if you wanted. And you also wrote on the form how much you'd sent off. My friend Gavin once wrote, he sent off £10 and he forgot to put the check in the envelope and sent it, and they gave him £10. And then we just realised he could just write any amount on this. So by the end of it, Gavin had got 150 quid in his account, and we stopped playing. He went, "Oh, can I have my money back?" I went, "Yep, no problem." Sent it back 150 quid, made a profit out of it. Absolute illegal behaviour from Gavin.
I like a bit of fraud, eh?
Yeah, nothing like a bit of fraud. So if you work at Soccer Supremos, get in touch and I'll give you his address.
He's the reason why you're out of business. Yeah,
basically, yeah. But it was so good. I can't remember why I was talking about Soccer Supremos.
We spoke about regen versus new.
That's where we're going. Yes. So on that, if you put a player's name in, they'd always get recycled in your league, within your league, something, things like that. So I called a player Rabies has rabies, right? Oh, no. Just so it would come up, and suddenly a player would come up going, "Gary has rabies," or Rabies Smith, or something like that would pop up. So you just got all these players called Dave has rabies just popping up. It's so fun. Yeah, it was really good fun.
So obviously, I know you like a shandy or two, shall we say?
I dabble.
Would you prefer beer or bitter, or even lager, whichever you prefer? They're basically the same thing.
I prefer Ponzi craft beer, if I'm totally honest. I would lager or bitter. I would probably pick lager over a sort of real typical English bitter, but I'd prefer like give me a nice sort of American IPA or pale ale, that sort of stuff I'd love. But I also like sour beers. I like the variety of things, to be honest. I'm more appreciative of beer as I've got more into it, I think, over the years. Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Brewdog Elvis juice at the moment. I love the Elvis juice.
Yeah, really good. But there's so many, once you sort of get into it, there's so many great breweries out there that you get and you go, God. And you should remember, it's not that long ago that beer was rank in this country, like all beer.
And Stella, Carlin Foster's.
Yeah, but you sort of go abroad. And I remember going to Germany and having a beer and go, it's really weird. This beer has flavour and tastes nice. Is there any way we could get some of this stuff instead of what we have, sort of thing? So it's nice now that you can experience a variety of beers and how quickly things change in beer. Yeah.
There's a streamer on YouTube called Keg Man Plays, or just Keg Man, and he loves a beer, hence the name called Keg. He says it's because he's shaped like a barrel, but I don't believe that at all. But his name's Kegman Plays, and he loves a beer. He'd be the best person to talk to, because you and him be best mates. I'm telling you, he could talk beer all day. He loves it. Types of beers, pale ales. I have to send them your way, mate, because you might have a best friend for life in Kent.
Well, I've started. What should I say? Making my own beer at home, which is glorious.
I saw that on your channel, yeah.
Yeah, which is a lot of fun. Thoroughly enjoy it. So yeah, great. I'll send them some beer. Actually, I'm not sure. I might not. I'm not sure it's legal to send my beer through the post.
Send the carry bag, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I do. Wonderful.
So if we go old school, if we go retro, what's your favourite football game? Provo, FIFA? Do you have a preference back in the day?
FIFA 98 was the first time I really got into FIFA. I mean, if you want to go really old school, football games, Kickoff 2, Goal, which was sort of the third version of Kickoff. Sensible soccer to a degree, but if I meet someone from that sort of era and they say they preferred Kickoff 2 or Goal to Sensible Soccer, they have my respect, because Sensible Soccer was fun, but it wasn't as good. It wasn't as good as this. Player Manager was a great game where you were a player manager of a team, like of a sort of it was a version of Kickoff 2 essentially. So those sort of ones really, but then Pro Evo I dabbled in. Mostly it was FIFA and then a big hiatus and then back to FIFA now. Nice.
So do you have a favourite swear word?
Oh, quite like the C word. Actually, no, I've got one. And this might offend a very select group of people. Banjod. And what it is, I'll tell you where this has come from.
It's an Asian word, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I don't know much about it. I don't know where it's from exactly. But there was, we were in a car. My friend Sally, when we lived in London, we first moved there. My friend Sally had learnt this word from someone. I don't know what. And we were in a taxi or something. This guy was driving the taxi, and Sally said the word banjod, and he was like, "Where did you learn that word?" and we sort of said we don't know what it means. And he said, and I don't know how true this is. He said it means something like you and every member of your family. He said, but whilst also disrespecting all of your religious and cultural beliefs. So I'm like, wow, what a swear word. What an all-rounder who could do all that. So that's probably it, yeah.
You obviously must have really upset that taxi driver for him to go into a diatribe about you've offended my culture and all this sort of stuff.
Well, it wasn't me, it was my friend Sally. Let's just make sure it wasn't me.
Allegedly.
But this guy was saying it meant more than that. It was like more than just that. It was a real all-rounder of a swear word. So yeah, great.
So last but by no means least, what's your favourite film?
It's between... I don't watch a lot of films, I should say at this point. It is between Casablanca, American Pie 2, and a film called Ski School that was around 1994 it would have come out and has not aged well. Don't watch Ski School now and judge me for it, because it is not. There are some problematic scenes in it. But those Ski School was a sort of early 90s sort of party film sort of thing, and it was set, and I ended up going to live in the ski resort where it was filmed, partly because of that film. So that's up there.
You're never going to hear Casablanca and American Pie 2 mentioned together.
They're both great in their own ways. Both great in their own ways.
This is the content you get from Robbie Knox's Twitch channel and his YouTube channel, I promise you.
Exactly.
It's a kind of situation, not to bring the mood down with COVID and whatnot. How are you finding making your podcast and making your YouTube content? Because a lot of your content, as you mentioned, walking with Robbie and other stuff, involves meeting people, all the podcasts in general. How have you found that's affected your content? Have you had to adapt it, shall we say, to coincide with social distancing and stuff like that?
Yeah, so the first lockdown, we went into it and I was thinking, this is my time to shine. This is my cup final. Because every other YouTuber is out doing this amazing stuff normally, and I'm just sat at home in my garden doing stuff. And then suddenly everyone has to sit at home in their garden. They're like, lads, this is my moment. This is incredible. And then they shut the schools. And I was like, all right, I guess I have to teach my children's stuff for the next 3 months. So I didn't really get to put out much videos. And then in the sobber when things got better, I started doing these walking things, partly because it's something you can do relatively safely. You're outside. You can, I mean, obviously you have to sit vaguely near to someone if you're going to film something with them. But you get, it's a bit safer than a lot of things sort of thing. You're only one person. But then when when the second lockdown started, I stopped doing the walking ones and I cancelled all the ones that I had lined up. I think by the letter of the law, I probably would have been all right because you can meet up and it is technically work because I do get paid for doing YouTube stuff, but it didn't really seem in the spirit of lockdown sort of thing. So I thought I've been them off. But as of today, I've just been back and I've organised this morning 3 walks coming up to get me up to Christmas sort of thing. So I'm doing Kieran Carlin. I'm doing Helen Anderson, who you might not know, who's very popular. She's a sort of, she's really cool. She's like a sort of cool sort of rock chick type fashion vlogger, and Blue Van Man as well.
Blue Van Man, I love Blue Van Man.
Yeah, so I might make him like a sort of Christmas special, Christmas and Boxing Day, one of those ones.
I mean, it's gone down pretty well. You're going for a walk with Robbie stuff or going for whoever is. It's so unique compared to I mean, you might not say it's a podcast, but you know what I mean, though? Compared to a normal interview where you do what we're doing now over Discord or over the phone or anything, it's very different. Do you find that the guys are a lot more relaxed when they go for it because they're in, they're rather sitting in a stuffy studio drinking cold coffee? Yeah, they're out going for a walk drinking cold coffee. Do you find they're a bit more relaxed?
I think it's quite a low pressure thing because you are literally just going for a walk and having a chat about absolutely anything for it. So it's nice. I mean, most of the people I've done I've met before, but there've been quite a few people I haven't done. But I've met like Max Fosh, I'd never met before. I did that, and Bambino Becky, I'd never met before then. But it's really nice to just meet new people, and it is a nice way to chat to people, just sort of stroll around and have no pressure. And what I like about it as well is there's nothing that I do in that anyone else couldn't do. There's no fancy shots. There's nothing particularly difficult. There's no incredible kit. It's basically a camera, and a lot of them quite low down cameras because I can't be bothered to carry a tripod around the woods. It's a camera and 2 people talking. It's really easy because people can do it on their phone. It's not a difficult thing. So I quite like the simplicity of it. And I think the idea of it is to make it feel like you're just sort of watching people, or you're out watching people have a chat. Like it's just really sort of, you're almost eavesdropping on it. I think that sort of vibe I was going for. But I love it. And it's been nice meeting new people. Like Max Fosh is great. And I'd say Becky, whose stuff I absolutely love. And I think she's really cool. And she'd messaged me a while ago saying, we should do something. And I never would have messaged her because she's like this cool, like 22-year-old girl. And I'm like a 43-year-old bloke. It'd be weird if I just went, hey, do you want to make a video? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you can't make the first content move. Do you know what I mean? For this sort of thing. It would have been weird. I would have felt weird. But then she said, she was really nice. And then when we went out to do the walk, I saw her put on, and this sums up my thinking. She saw put on her Instagram story. She said, I'm filming with my favourite YouTuber today. And I remember reading that thinking, oh, well, I better make sure we get this done as quick as possible so she can get on to what she's got afterwards. And I thought, hang on, does she mean me? And so it was, it's really lovely. It was really lovely. And then that whole day, we walked around for a bit, and then we ended up just going and getting drunk in a pub. But every hour or so, we were probably together for about 8-10 hours in total. Because we met around lunchtime and just sort of walked for a bit and went to the pub. But every hour or so, one of us would just go, I'm having a really nice time. I know, this is really nice. Because you never know when you just meet someone how you're going to get on with them, do you? Sort of thing. But it was really lovely. So I really enjoyed that. I've enjoyed meeting people. And I'm doing Kieran Carlin on Saturday, who I've met for about 5 minutes. But I love his stuff. And in that 5 minutes, the first thing I said to him was, I love you. So he's very slightly terrified of me, sort of thing. So we'll try and undo that damage.
How much of Saturday. Your walking with Robbie is scripted? None of it at all.
I don't think. Occasionally, I'll think I should talk to someone about this, but not from a sort of clickbaity thing, but more because I'm quite interested in this. Like I know Kieran Carlin, he's been working with Will Ennie and doing stuff with him. He's a very big YouTuber. He's been editing for him. There's definitely clickbaity titles that I could get if I could be asked. Do you know what I mean? But really, I'm more interested in the fact he's an amazing editor, an amazing sort of motion graphics guy as well. So I just want to ask a lot of questions about that as well. So I don't really script any of it. I might have asked. I might think I want to bring up this topic, but then quite often forget anyway. Yeah.
Well, there we go, boys and girls. That's the infamous Robbie Knox, your new Twitch sensation, shall we say? If you haven't already, head on over to his Twitch channel and of course his YouTube channel. Honestly, his YouTube channel and his Twitch channel, especially, is amazing. It's unique, shall we say? You know, he does vlogs about going to Sainsbury's and taking the bins out, and I think there's one about a shed, if memory serves me correct, a little while back.
Yeah, mega shed or something. Yeah, there's a shed in there somewhere. Yeah, I can't remember what.
It sounds really weird, but that's why it's so good. So obviously, check out his YouTube channel and especially check out his Twitch channel, because as we've already spoke about, generally his community, and it is a community, is one of the best communities out there. You go in there, and everyone's so welcoming, and Robbie doesn't get to play much of the game because he's too busy talking to us. So apologies for that, Robbie. Honestly, I don't mean to have us to distract you so much.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. It's nice to talk to someone. I've got 3 kids, so it's nice to have a conversation.
I know how you feel. But again, thank you so much, Robbie. Do you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye. Thank you for having me. It's been the best day of my life.
I'm going to hold you to that now. I'm going to go on up my Twitter bio. This is the best day of my life. But without any further ado, I'm going to bid you all adieu. See you later. And we're out. No.
Brilliant, pal. Stop recording, yeah?
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, buddy.